Hello again, Bill Pfeiffer speaking from Marysfield. So good to be with you. I'm kind of in Scrufties here. I just got back from collecting my eggs. I have 27 ducks, and we're expecting some babies, about a dozen in late June. I pick up at this point, about 15 eggs a day. Bob, my technician here, and I kind of take care of them, and it's kind of a little extra fun and relaxation, and the eggs are absolutely spectacular. Wonderful story today. During the waning years of the Depression in a small southeastern Idaho community, I used to stop by Brother Miller's roadside stand for farm fresh produce as the season made it available. Food and money were still extremely scarce, and bartering was used extensively. One particular day, Brother Miller was bagging some early potatoes for me. I noticed a small boy, delicate of bone and structure, ragged but clean, hungrily appraising a basket of freshly picked green peas. I paid for my potatoes, but was also drawn to the display of fresh green peas. I'm a pushover for cream peas and new potatoes. Boy, they are good. Pondering the peas, I couldn't help overhearing the conversation between Brother Miller and the ragged boy next to me. "Hello, Barry. How are you today?" "Hello, Mrs. Miller. Fine, just thank you. Just admiring them peas. Sure look good." "They are good, Barry. How's your ma?" "Fine. Getting stronger all the time." "Good. Anything I can help you with?" "No, sir. Just admiring them peas." "Would you like to take some home?" "No, sir. Got nothing to pay for 'em with." "Well, what do you have to trade me for some of those peas?" "All I got is my prize marble. This is the best Aggie around here." "Is that right?" "Let me see it." "Here 'tis. She's a dandy." "I can see that. Only thing is, this one is blue, and I sort of go for red." "Do you have a red one like this at home?" "Not exactly, but almost." "Tell you what, take this sack of peas home with you the next trip this way. Let me look at that red marble." "Sure will. Thanks, Mr. Miller." Mrs. Miller, who had been standing nearby, came over to help me. With a smile, she said, "There are 2 other boys like him in our community. All 3 are in very poor circumstances. Jim just loves to bargain with them for peas, apples, tomatoes, or whatever. When they come back with their red marbles, and they always do, he decides he doesn't like red after all, and he sends them home with a bag of produce for a green marble or an orange one, perhaps." I left the stand smiling to myself, impressed by this man. A short time later, I moved to Utah, but I never forgot the story of this man, the boys, and their bartering. Several years went by, each more rapid than the previous one. Just recently, I had the occasion to visit some old friends in that Idaho community, and while I was there, I learned that Brother Miller had died. They were having the viewing that evening, and knowing my friends wanted to go, I agreed to accompany them. Upon our arrival at the mortuary, we fell into line to meet the relatives, the deceased, and to offer what words of comfort we could. Ahead of us in line were 3 young men. One was in an army uniform, and the other 2 wore short haircuts, dark suits, and white shirts, obviously the potential or returned missionaries. They approached Mrs. Miller, standing smiling and composed by her husband's casket. Each of the young men hugged her, kissed her on the cheek, spoke briefly with her, and moved on to the casket. Her misty light blue eyes followed them as, one by one, each young man stopped briefly and placed his own warm hand over the cold, pale hand in the casket. Each left the mortuary, awkwardly wiping his eyes. Our turn came to meet Mrs. Miller. I told her who I was and mentioned the story she had told me about the marbles. Eyes glistening, she took me by the hand and led me to the casket. "This is an amazing coincidence," she said. "Those 3 young men that just left were the boys I told you about. They just told me how they appreciated all the things Jim traded them. Now, at last, when Jim could not change his mind about the color or size they came to pay their debt. We've never had a great deal of wealth in this world," she confided, "but right now, Jim would consider himself the richest man in Idaho." With loving gentleness, She lifted the lifeless fingers of her deceased husband. Resting underneath were 3 magnificently shiny red marbles. When I used this story in school, just stop, total silence, the story tells it all. Happiness tomorrow for all of us truly depends on doing the truth today. God bless you. Be in touch tomorrow.